This is an archaeologist. Why does he have on scuba diving gear and not holding a dustpan? Because he does marine biology. He received a report in 1901 that sponge divers found a shipwreck located here off the Greek island of Antikythera. One of the best things that you can find while doing marine archaeology is a shipwreck. Not because you can suddenly become rich in the process from all the gold and silver that you find, but because of how we can continue to expand our knowledge of ancient history. And on this occasion, they did find gold and silver and many other precious artifacts. But the most valuable item that they found was hidden in a wooden box made of bronze. What was it? This is the Antikythera Mechanism. Hi guys, Random here. When we think of ancient Greece, we tend to think of democracy, the Olympics, or the philosophers, Aristotle or Plato. But rarely do we think of their inventions. They had invented some amazing things, like the solar clock. These were carefully positioned stones that could track the movement of the sun as the day goes by. Or a vending machine for holy water. Using a simple counterweight system that once you deposit a coin can give you a set amount of water for prayer. But a shipwreck found off the coast of Antikythera was about to change the way we think about ancient Greek abilities. This bronze structure that they found seemed to have a gear wheel on its front, similar to that of a clock. Was this simply an illusion of the mind? Or did it have a functional purpose? But that answer needed to wait for now. The first thing you need to do when finding an ancient artifact is to find out how old it is. First, they tested the age of the coins. That came back to 60 or 70 BCE. But when the bronze device was tested, it came back to almost 100 years older than that. It was possible that it was made in 200 BCE. This device definitely needed further examination. But there was a problem. From the moment the device was lifted out of the water, it began to corrode. And limited by the technology of the time, no further studies could have been done on it. So the researchers carefully placed it in the Athens Museum and left it there for years. But it was never forgotten about. Some predictions were made over what it could have been, but none could have been 100% sure. But their research raised even more questions, like who built it, what was its purpose, and how does it work? And it seemed like these questions may not have gotten a definitive answer. Until recently, X-Tech, an X-ray company, built a machine that was able to do 3D X-rays. After transporting the X-ray machine from England to Athens, they were able to carefully examine the Antikythera mechanism. When the images were completely rendered, what they found blew the researchers away, because what they found should not have existed in that time. That gear-like structure on the front was not for aesthetics, it was functional, as well as 35 other gears that was found in the mechanism. It was so precisely put together that you could fool a modern-day watchmaker. Because essentially that is what it was, but way more advanced. Making this the oldest computer in existence. All a computer is something that takes an input and calculates an output. In its full form, the Antikythera mechanism had a handle at its side. And as you turn it, you got the information that you need. What was it calculating? The movements of the heavens above. But how is that impressive? That could be done with a piece of paper and binoculars. True, but you'll only have information from the past. This device told you what the heavens will look like in the future. And this was not simple information, like there will be a full moon on a certain date. Using a black and white stone, it told you it would have been a full moon, where the planets will be, what day it will be on. If there was going to be an eclipse on a certain day, you got that information as well. Also, another important thing for the Greeks was they needed to know when the Olympic Games needed to be held, and also where. In the 3D images, it also showed how the machine was supposed to be worked. It told the Greeks the day the Olympics needed to be held, where it needed to take place, and the precise moment for it to start. But its most impressive thing was a calculation of the movement of the moon. As the moon travels through the sky, it sometimes speeds up and slows down, and the Antikythera mechanism calculated this movement as well. It even accounted for leap years. To put that into perspective, the first mechanical clock was invented in the 1300s, nearly 1500 years after, and it was nowhere as functional as the Antikythera mechanism. This is an advanced piece of technology even by today's standards. Watchmakers have studied it to get inspiration for better designs. So the question does come up, Who built it? For now, we don't have a definite answer, but there is some clues. The philosopher Cicero mentioned that Archimedes had built 2 devices that could precisely keep track of the Earth, Moon, and Sun. But he also mentioned that his friend Posidonius had built a similar device. However, Cicero had mentioned this 30 years after the shipwreck, so it is possible that Archimedes and Posidonius had simply taken inspiration from this device. At this point in time, we cannot give credit to the inventor. However, we do know one thing for sure, that it cannot be a unique device. It is too sophisticated for it to be a one of a kind. We just happen to find one. Somewhere buried out there may be more of these devices, and as we find it, we can give credit to its creator. With all of this considered, the most impressive thing about this device is not the device itself, but how it was made without power tools, satellite imagery, and computers. This was built by hand and simple eye observation of the night sky. The Antikythera Mechanism stands as a testimony that we should never look back at our ancestors and think that we are somehow better than they are. They came very close to our time. Thanks for watching.